Welcome to Pencils and Lipstick. This is a podcast for indie authors. I'm Kat Caldwell, novelist, short story writer, and book coach. Here on Pencils and Lipstick, we're obsessed with all things story, and it is my goal to bring you the writing tips that you need to make your novel
Welcome,
come
everyone,
to life.
back to Pencils and Lipstick. I have Peter DeHaan with me today. We are going to talk about writing for a couple different audiences, how long he's been writing, both nonfiction and fiction. It's going to be great. And we're going to talk especially about his book, Successful Author FAQs, which I know has probably already piqued everybody's interest because they are all writers who listen to this. So welcome, Peter, to the show. I'm so glad that you could be here.
I'm excited to be here as well.
So as I was saying before, I highly doubt that this is the first book that you wrote, because the Successful Author FAQ, I feel like that is like answering the question that most writers have, right? Like, how do I become successful? So how did you get into writing? What brought you to this field?
I came into it kicking and screaming.
Oh, okay.
I never liked to write, but in high school, I realized that when I got an essay question on a test, I could score a lot of points by just writing and make up for shortfalls in other areas. So from that, I realized I had a knack from it.
Okay.
And going on, writing was always part of my job, but never my job until the last 20 years.
Oh, for 20 years now, you've been writing for a job.
Or so.
Okay. I mean, that's what's funny about writing. And, most high school kids complain about it, but it doesn't, like, most jobs have some form of writing to it. Like, whether you're writing up, just patient summaries or whatever it is, emails, all that stuff, you have to figure that out, right? So what was your first entry point into writing as an actual job?
An actual job. In 2001, I bought an industry magazine for the call center industry.
Okay.
And that was my official entry into the writing/publishing arena.
What is that? A call center magazine?
Yeah, a magazine for call centers.
I mean, I worked at a call center, so is it just to entertain us call center people? What was it? Or train them?
Tells you how to operate a call center, how to set one up, how to manage it.
So you had to come up with content like every quarter or every month?
Every month or every other month.
Oh my gosh, that sounds hard. Like to like keep it fresh, or just that? Oh, that sounds like a lot of. I'd be like, oh, that would be a great idea, and then I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to talk to you about anymore. Please say hello kindly to the person when you answer the phone. Like, I do remember.
Well, for every issue, I would have an editorial, and I would probably have one other column. Okay. But then I had submissions from people in the industry that wanted to share their knowledge with their peers.
Oh, that makes sense. Everybody always wants to tell their opinion, right?
and I was a little nervous going into it, but I thought, okay, I've written enough in the past about the industry that if I had to, I could fill up an entire issue just with my content. And I never had to do that, but I knew I had a backup plan.
Okay, you had a backup plan.
If none of my writers came through.
Did you have a section where people could tell a funny story about what happened at the call center?
I tried to do that. In fact, I wanted to write a book about that compiled funny stories.
Yeah.
And people didn't want to share them.
Really? So many things, probably because they don't want to really say what goes on. I always tell people, if the music doesn't play, the person can still hear you. That just means that they put themselves on mute. That's just a little, at least in 2003. And sometimes you would hear things of oh man, I wish I hadn't heard that person say that.
Unfortunately, those things do happen.
Yes. You're like, oh my goodness, that's so funny. It was actually a good job. I like that job. It was fast paced. Time went by fast. Usually people were very polite. I wonder if anyone knows what a call center is anymore. How many people use that? Are those still active?
They are active. Yes.
Are they active? Okay. Yep. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Once you get past the AI bot, you can actually talk to
if you can get past them.
I know, it's so horrible. Okay, so you started out with magazine writing. So I guess that sort of trained you to stay focused, word wise, be very concise, has to stay within a certain area. Okay.
I had a word count that I had to hit, and I had deadlines I had to hit.
Right.
And so that developed a really good rhythm, a good pattern for me.
Okay. And it was basically nonfiction too. So you're just
Yes.
like, all right. So then how did you get into the book world?
Good question. As I was writing for the magazine, I was compiling a lot of good information. And I know that some magazines will take editorial content and put it into a book.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that was my first idea, that once I had enough content, I would put it into a book.
Okay.
And I eventually
did that.
Specifically
for like the business sector, like the call center. Okay.
But that was not the first book I published. That was maybe book 25 or 20, maybe 25 or 30. So
okay. So what happened in between the magazine and that book?
I was also writing articles and content for the Christian market.
Okay.
And so my first 20 or so books were for that market.
Okay.
Bible studies, devotionals, things like that.
Are you a pastor as well?
I am not.
No, you just like it. You just like studying.
Okay.
So back then, I mean, it doesn't seem that far away to us, I'm sure, but for the younger listeners, it's so crazy how quickly things have changed. Like that decade, there were still a lot of magazines, a lot of they were going online, which was nice. You could access them. I had a lot of subscriptions to magazines. So were you like both in print and online?
Initially, I was just in print.
Okay.
And then in the I guess mid 1990s, I saw the writing on the wall and began to add online content as well.
Okay.
And I didn't put it behind a paywall. It was there free for anyone that wanted to access it. And then over time, things changed, and I had to begin moving my magazines from print and online to only online.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I had a couple magazines and an e-zine and a newsletter and some informational websites. So I had different content, but eventually everything ended up online.
Right. You're quite smart to do that. I think some people went kicking and screaming that way too. It's like they did not want to give up, which now I think some people are nostalgic for all the paper. But
some people do like to hold things in their hand as they read.
It's kind of fun to get mail. Like nowadays we just get the junk mail, like you used to run and get the Reader's Digest and, like it would be a fun day. So I think what's interesting, your Christian market is mostly nonfiction, correct? Or is it a mix?
I have 11 or 12 fiction books for the YA market. And then I have another 60 or so nonfiction books for the Christian market. And then I have 10 or 12 books for the general market.
You're very prolific. Like in the last 25 years, you've written 60 books?
Actually, I didn't start publishing until 2017. So I've published all those in the last 6 years.
So you just had them or you wrote them?
Some of them were already written. Most of them I wrote since that time.
Okay, let's back up. What does your day look like, Peter DeHaan? How do you get that much writing done?
It's very structured.
Okay.
And it has to be. Currently, I'm writing a book a month, and I'll switch from fiction to nonfiction.
Okay.
So this month I'm on a fiction book. I'm about 75% done with it. And then on, what's the next month? June, I'll start writing my next nonfiction book.
Okay. Now, are these outlined?
I always start a book with a rough outline. Usually it's a bullet point list.
Okay.
It's where I start, and I know where I'm going to end up when I start writing. And I just have to write to get to that point.
So where does your thinking come in? Are you thinking like about the fiction book while you're writing this nonfiction? Like, is that outline already done, or does like every month starts new, fresh, everything?
Great question. It's a juggling act that works for me. It wouldn't work for a lot of people, but currently I work on about 5 books at a time. I have one book I'm planning for. So I'm planning for my June book. I'm writing my May book. The book from last month is at my editor's. The book from the month before that, I'm putting up for pre-order. And then the book before that will publish very soon.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like how many hours a day do you work? Is this full time for you?
I work about 10 hours a day, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday.
Okay. I mean, and I think most writers are figuring it out pretty much every day, right? They're trying to get something done. But it's interesting that you're so structured. I think that's one thing that a lot of people struggle with, like the creative brain. Well, I'll just raise my hand here. I do know that I'm less stressed when I'm more structured. We're in a bit different life moments right now. I have a lot of teenagers running around, so yes. I have to keep an eye on those guys. But it is true, like being structured will help a writer. I think a lot of writers resist that because they're very creative. It doesn't come naturally. Just because it doesn't come naturally doesn't mean that they can't do it. So in those 10 hours, how much do you devote to writing, thinking, maybe doing your newsletter, because you have a newsletter as well, marketing, all of that stuff?
You're probably going to laugh at me, but
laughter's good.
Unlike most writers, my biggest problem is to stop writing.
Okay.
I have to force myself to stop. I like it that much.
Yeah.
So Monday through Thursday, I write in the mornings. I have a hard stop at noon. So when I break for lunch, I have to do something else after lunch. I won't let myself go back to writing.
That's actually a good point, because sometimes when you're in the flow, you think, oh, I should go back and keep writing. And then people neglect all the other stuff that starts piling up. So that it's actually a good point to make.
Yeah. So sometimes lunch gets pushed back a little bit.
A little bit. It's just so good. I mean, it is. Yeah. If you get that flow, right. But, so you try to do a hard break at noon and then you eat. That's a good point too. We have to eat. We have to eat properly. All right. And then your afternoon is spent doing the other things?
The afternoon is spent other things, marketing and promotions.
Okay.
Monday afternoon, I focus on Amazon ads, and Tuesday afternoon, I focus on Facebook ads, and Wednesday afternoon, it's BookBub ads. Thursday afternoon, it's my getting reviews and something else. I'm drawing a blank right now, but it will remind me on Thursday. And then Friday afternoon is email marketing.
Okay. Friday afternoon is email. Actually, so way back when I was a new mom, I had a little list up, and Monday was mopping and Tuesday was bathrooms. And that is kind of the same. And honestly, the way that you're saying it now, I'm surprised I hadn't thought about it before, but it actually makes a lot of sense. And I think what I see a lot of writers doing is obsessing when they start something new, or when a book comes out. You'll pull up your KDP page constantly, or your BookBub ads page. And like a good way to stop that is to actually have days in which those are the days that you look at it, and you really shouldn't be fiddling with your Amazon ads all the time. Like you really should be letting 7 days go by, from any little tweak that you make. But it just takes some discipline, right? And being like, no, this is what I'm going to do. I also feel like you feel a little less crazy if you know what you're doing that day, and we could actually get it done. Right. So it sounds to me like you have all these books written, but you also have Amazon ads, Facebook ads, BookBub ads. So is that what led you to writing this Successful Author FAQs book?
Oh, great question. We kind of got all around that. Talked all around that. When I bought my first magazine, and I launched a couple others, but after I got established, people were writing to me, emailing me with writing questions and publishing questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? And I would make an effort to be respectful to them and give them a thoughtful answer. And one time I'm typing out my answer, and I thought, I've already answered this question. And at that point, I realized I was onto something. So I began documenting the questions and the answers.
Okay.
And eventually it came out in the book form.
Okay. So this is mainly focused on indie authors, or any author?
Indie authors. When I first started getting the questions, a lot of them were confused by the traditional route versus indie route.
Okay.
And so I would spend a lot of time explaining the pluses and minuses of both, and what they might want to consider before they chose which path to take. But more recently, it's most people that are aware of the writing as a career have that information, and they've decided which path they want to take, what based on what's best for them.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And that the traditional world is getting funky. We'll just leave it at that. It's getting harder. So what do you think most authors, I guess when you start writing, usually a lot of writers have like a story in mind or a story that they've been playing with, and now they write their book. What do you think is the number one thing we get wrong when it comes to, oh, I have a book and now I want to publish it and be an author?
Okay. The thing I think is most people do wrong is they write the book first.
Okay.
And I say, start writing something short. If you're writing fiction, write short stories. If you're writing nonfiction, write articles and blog posts.
Yeah.
And hone your craft on that. And it's really easy to experiment with something on a 1,500 word short story. They commit a whole book to it and just be overwhelmed by it.
Yeah. I do think people think writing a novel is a lot easier than it is, because you have this like story playing in your head and you think, well, how hard could it possibly be? And you'll find out. Yeah. Right.
Most people who start writing a book don't finish.
Right. Well, and honestly, if you sit down to start writing a 1,500 word story, you might not finish because you have to get to that middle. You have to figure out the end. And a lot of people just sort of have this nebulous beginning and maybe something cool that happens or these cool characters. There's nothing wrong with that, but it will show you what's missing in your craft knowledge, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you would recommend that they write short stories. I think that is a sign of our impatience these days in this generation. And
we don't want to learn. We don't want to practice. We just want to do.
Yeah, we want to do it. We want it to be done and done well enough. And then we want everyone to buy our book. And, because now you've spent all this time, and whether or not you've spent this time writing a well-written book, we don't know.
Right.
Only you know, right? So where would you tell people to if they're writing short stories, does anyone read short stories these days? What would you do with that short story?
Find a good critique group and share it with them.
Interesting. More time, more development. I know I really think some writers are like not okay with this. I actually really loved writing short stories. And I think one of the most fun classes I ever took in college was a short story writing class, and then a nonfiction story writing class where you're pushed. So, you could even go to a local community college and sort of be pushed to actually get those things done. I really like doing contests because you have a time limit. Like if, once I'm one of those people, like once I paid my $35, I'm going to get it in. Like I'm not going to just toss it out. Maybe that doesn't work for everybody. And a lot of times you'll get critique back on like what worked, what didn't work from professionals. So did you start out writing short stories? You did a lot of blog posts and a lot of articles and but how did you learn your fiction writing?
By short stories.
By short stories, yeah.
My critique group had a 1,000-word limit on what we could share at one meeting.
Okay.
So I got very good at writing flash fiction.
Yes. I think it's a great exercise, though. It really, when I found flash fiction, because if you just go in writing a short story, I mean, that short story can be 6,000 words to some people, right? Like that's, who knows? You have no boundaries, like not having boundaries is sometimes a terrible thing for a writer. They'll just keep writing.
Yes.
Like I just learned the other day that Dickens was paid by the word. And that's why his books are so long. Like not because all those words were needed. If only that were true these days. But flash fiction, that really forces you to have that climax, that ending. What do they want? What are they doing? Why are they there? Like, I don't know. It makes you realize the difference between a story and an anecdote, like I'm just telling something that happened. And I think that if people can give feedback, I don't know about you, but I picked up quite a few books these days where I feel like it's one long anecdote. Like, this is what happened. Cool. Did anybody learn anything?
Right.
Like, nobody knows. Like, it's a mystery still. So did you start publishing your fiction in 2017 or both nonfiction books and fiction books?
Great question. I published my
Remember,
first
it's been such
fiction.
a blur.
I published my first fiction book in February of last year.
Okay. So you did nonfiction for a long time.
Yes.
What made you want to do so many books? Like, did you start out writing not like a book a month? Like
No,
when you started
no,
publishing?
that's something more, that's a rhythm that I've more recently embraced.
Okay. Is it helped by writing series? Are you writing series or are they all standalone?
Most are in series.
Okay. I'm trying to find your trick here. I'm still very curious about this. All right. But if somebody's starting out, they can't think like you're not advising them to sit down and write a book a month. That's probably not what this is not what Peter said. So what?
No, in fact, if someone's just starting out, I would say find a critique group and write one thing a month to share with your critique group.
Oof. Yeah.
And build on that.
And build on that and get the feedback. So once somebody, let's say somebody did that and then they got confident that they could write their book and they got their book written, what is the next thing that you see authors doing that they probably just don't understand how the publishing world works?
I see too many articles, authors who skimp on the editing.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Oh, I have had manuscripts sent to me with no dialogue tags, like no quotation marks.
Okay.
And I can't believe it. So first of all, the self-editing, like just knowing how to structure a manuscript, that is up to you. Like if you send that to an editor, I mean, God bless the editor that actually edits it. I send it back. I will not do it. Like I've actually had a manuscript sent to me with no paragraph indents. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. Go find someone else. Or I'll charge you triple because I'm not like trying to figure out where you're in your. So I would say I would counter that and say the self-editing is the problem. Why do you think people think they don't need to be edited?
Two reasons. One is they feel they can't afford it. Yeah. And I feel they can't afford not to. And the other is they had their mom edit it, or they had their friend that majored in English in college edit it, and they think they're good to go. And that helps, but it doesn't get them there.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It's really not helpful. Like it will actually end up costing you money or your entire book. Like if it is the story that you really want to get out to the world, or it's part of a series and you like are banking, like this is your kind of pride and joy, you can't afford to not edit it. I tell people though, I don't know how many times I've said this on the podcast, stop ordering your coffee and like, open a bank account, put that $8 now like into that bank account. Like sometimes you have to save for it. Sometimes you have to give up one thing and go, for this thing that you want. Because I mean, readers are getting very harsh on their critiques. You can't slog out of a 2.5-star review after a while. It's just never. You get a couple of those, and trying to come back is almost impossible. Like that is not going to happen. You're just going to have to rewrite it with a new ISBN, which will cost you money, $110 to be exact, and more editing.
Not unless you buy 1,000 at a time.
Well, I know that's what I do, but most people do that. And I'm sure you do because you need them more than I do. So why, like, how much does an editor cost? Like your editor, they go by word count. I mean, most of my editors go by word count.
Editors I've worked with or have wanted to work with either charged by the word, by the hour, or by the project.
Okay.
And I understand why different editors want those three scenarios.
You're right.
But I will only hire someone that works by the word count so that I know exactly what I'm going to pay. And I'll give them a sample of my work ahead of time so they know what they're getting into.
Right. How did you find your editors? I think that's another thing. People just sort of can claim they're an editor online now. So finding a good reputable editor who's not going to scam you and charge you $1,000 and then not edit it properly, that's a thing too.
My copy editor I met at a writers conference.
Okay.
And
that's a good place.
I think she has edited every one of my books.
Okay.
And so she cares as much about my books as I do. She's that invested into it, and I really
well, you're a steady income stream for her.
Every month.
Every month she's got something. I mean, that's a great partnership right there. But it's funny that you said copy editor, because I think a lot of people will pay for the developmental editing and they won't pay for the copy editing. And oh my goodness, the amount of tiny mistakes that can happen in a book is just mind-boggling to me. Like, really, really, it's just every book that I put out, I'm just like, how did that get missed?
Yes.
And so like a copy editor is so important, like so important. And she or he will usually know all the little grammar things that you didn't know because you're just, writing and semicolons. Where do those even come from? I don't know, but they'll know those things.
Yes.
So a writer's conference is a really good place to find one, actually.
Yes. And then I also, every book goes to a developmental edit and a copy edit.
And those are two separate people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Even though people say they'll do both, you don't want the same one to do both of those for one book.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they'll do the developmental edit and then they'll have that in the back of their mind when they do the copy edit, and that could keep them from catching things. So
yeah, our brains are weird. Like if we already know the story, we're kind of, I think even sometimes when you when you think you know what's going to happen, like you need an editor who's really on like just the editing mind and not the reader mind. Right. So do you have any ideas of where else people can find editors?
All my developmental editors I found either through referrals or through online job boards.
Oh, so talking to people have
and
to look.
I've had several developmental editors over the years. The one I'm using currently, we really click well, and I depend on her for a lot and rely on her feedback. So
yeah,
I've got a good one.
Do you interview them? Do you how do you find out what else they've edited and you go look at that? How do you decide who to work with?
Over the years, my process has changed. Early on, it was just, oh, you're an editor? Okay, I'll hire you.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been there.
But what I would do now is I would talk with them, see if we're a good fit, see if they have worked on my types of books, and then give them a sample, and I would offer to pay them for that sample edit. And sometimes they'll decline the payments, other times they'll accept it, but if they're going to do work for me so I can evaluate them, I think I should offer to pay them for their time.
Sure. And I mean, if you're going by word and it's a small sample, it's worth it to see their best work, right? Yes. Like everyone deserves to be paid. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think it's well worth taking your time to find someone who has edited your genre or your kind of book. I mean, just thinking of like, if you're writing for the Christian market, you're going to need someone who's not opposed to Christianity, just like on a basic level, right?
Yes.
So you need, and if you're a Christian editor, most likely you're not going to edit horror very well, if that's not something that you like reading. So like you just have to sort of, this idea these days of like, I can do all things for all people, it's got to stop. Like you should really niche down into certain, I mean, you can have more than one genre, right? But finding somebody who understands your genre, understands the kind of story structure that you're doing is pretty important.
Yes.
we need to understand that. So when does this book go from the moment that you're done with the book and you've already edited it, or does it start before that?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
So like your book, The Successful Author FAQ, does it sort of start with an author already having the manuscript edited? Like, is that the point at which a writer would buy this book? Like, oh, I have my manuscript, it's all edited, and now I'm going on to publish?
Good question. Thank you for clarifying.
That's right.
Someone could buy and benefit from this book at any point in their writing career, whether they're just starting out, whether they have a book done and they want to figure out what to do with it next. I have things categorized into sections. So it starts out with being an intentional writer, craft, planning, getting feedback, editing, building a platform, blogging, submitting your work, agents, publishing, marketing, legal stuff, finances, and other considerations.
Oh,
so
wow.
Wherever you are, you can just turn to that page and find out questions that other people at your point have asked and get my answer to them.
Oh, so you even go into legal stuff. I don't think most writers even think about that. What?
And standard disclaimer, I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice.
Disclaimers everywhere. So what with the book, what are you establishing as a successful author? Is that kind of up to everybody individually, or do you have your own definition for it?
It's up to everyone individually, because every author has their own goals.
Okay.
Some people have a passion project and they want that in book form, and that's all they're ever going to write.
Yeah.
And so what's success to them is something different than someone who, I want to make my full-time living off of writing.
Yeah, absolutely. So but this offers people who do want to make their living off of writing to set up a platform. It sounds like a successful launching pad, I guess.
Correct.
Of not feeling like they're going crazy. I don't know how much to trust social media, but it seems like authors these days, all they put out there on their social media is like, oh my gosh, like this sort of like hamster wheel of not getting enough writing done, or all these things. And sometimes I just want to be like, shh, everyone go back to writing. It's okay. Because it doesn't have to feel crazy, right? Like you can get to the point where you write a book a month. That's great.
Yes.
I'm still in awe of this. I can't help it. So when you are at this point, you have, let's say people get your book, they set up a platform, they're getting into their own rhythm of writing. How much time in the end, as like for you and your success, do you have to dedicate to things like blogging or newsletters or marketing or ads? What do people need to understand about that?
I have a joke I tell myself, that I spend 50% of my time writing, 50% of my time publishing, and 50% of my time promoting.
Yeah. And it just doesn't add up, does it? Never
so there's always something that isn't getting done.
Yeah.
And the only way to get everything done is to stop writing as much.
Oh my gosh. It's so hard. Like the hard truth of it. It's so true. So I think that the biggest point then is to have a way to somehow organize all these things. When did you start doing ads? Was that something that you did from the beginning, or is that fairly recent?
That was not. I think that probably started around 2019, 2020.
Okay, so you got there before COVID.
Around that time, yeah.
Have things changed?
Interesting? We tie everything with COVID.
Before
COVID or after COVID.
I know, but things change so much. I feel like I was there. I started in 2017 and I started the podcast in 2019, and then COVID hits, and just like something shifted everywhere, know. And I mean, and some of it is good. Like I'm not sure indie bookstores would have come back were it not for COVID. I don't know. Barnes and Noble seems to be doing better, and I felt like they were going to go out of business. I mean, they just were straggling along for a while, but
yes.
Disclaimer, I don't know what's going on inside. It just looked like that to me. I don't know. But have you seen a change or in the ad platform, like not the platform, but like how ads respond? Is it more difficult? Is it easier?
It's changing constantly.
I hate that.
And just the time you think you get something dialed in and you have a process, something will change where it stops working.
Oh my gosh.
And then you start all over. Okay, what works? What doesn't work? What do I need to tweak? And
so it is really a weekly thing that you have to check in and see what is happening, what's not working.
Yes. I used to check my Amazon ads once a month. And then they made an algorithm change last August.
Yeah.
And starting then, things were happening too fast. Once a month was not frequently enough.
Right. So and sometimes those little buggers just don't do anything. And then you're like, what? What is happening? It's so strange. There's one thing, the like suggested, I'm always so far below like their suggested bid, like that's insane. If I pay $1 for a bid, I'm literally not making any money if it's an ebook, like, and some of it doesn't make sense. Like you really have to think about it. And I think that's where some authors, I'm not saying that we're not good thinkers, but sometimes we don't quite add up. Like, well, I want to win the bid and then somebody will buy the book. It's like, yeah, but if you're losing money, like it's not working that way. Right. So sometimes they just go erratic. And then I think they just take your money and they're like, oh, I'll just throw it at that. And you got to make sure it's all set up. And the whole like off platform ad thing, it was weird. And anyway, if people don't know what we're talking about, I think people should get training on Amazon ads, but that's mostly because data is not my strong point. Did you self-train?
Okay. Initially, I did.
Okay.
Well, let me back up. Initially, I hired an agency to run my Amazon ads, and it was costing me money. So I fired them after 4 months. And then I looked at all the ads they ran for me, what was working, what wasn't working, and I kind of reverse engineered their process.
Okay.
And began running my own ads, and I could do it and make a profit. Not much of a profit, but I could make a profit. But since that time, I've taken several Amazon ads courses and Facebook ads courses and BookBub ads courses. So anytime I can learn from someone that's further ahead on the learning curve than I want to learn from them. And
okay, so where do you find time to do the courses? I'm very fascinated. You must have 32 hours in your day. I don't know what is happening. Is that if it's Facebook day, that is when you do the course?
I do have an update to an Amazon ads course that I'm hoping to be able to do this afternoon.
Because
it's Monday.
Because it's Monday. Okay. I mean, honestly, that is actually how I do. Yeah, that's honestly how you would probably get it done. So everyone who has all those courses that you've bought, because we all know we did it in COVID, we have them. Go look in your emails and set up specific days to get through your courses. Because I do think there are some people who are just in the industry, right? Like they just know it. Like that's their day all day, figuring out Amazon ads so that they can teach us. At some point, we have to learn, right? So BookBub ads, man, those I'm still struggling with. And I have a course but it's a whole different platform. And when you think one platform, the whole, like, you have to just change it all up for them. So have you had success with them?
Some months I have success on BookBub ads, and some months I do not.
I'm glad you've had success with some months, because every month mine's like, okay, never mind. We're going to reassess this real quick. Yeah.
BookBub platform is easy to use.
Yeah.
But it's not similar to Facebook or Amazon. So you almost have to say, forget everything I know about those two platforms and just focus on BookBub. And once you do that, I think it's pretty easy to use. It's a little harder to make money at it.
It's also easy to lose money. It's like, I listened to Matthew Holmes, I think Matthew Holmes is the guy that does the BookBuzz. He's like, don't ever do what they suggest. Remember, they're trying to make money off of you. Yes. And I think that's a really good point to remember every time you're doing ads. Whenever they're suggesting, they are in it for their own interests. You need to be in it for your interests as an author. Do you go into any ads or anything in the Successful Author FAQs, or is it just really about setting up their own publishing and their own writing platform?
I touch on it in the marketing section.
Okay.
But because that changes so quickly, I intentionally did not put that in the book, because once it's published, it's already out of date. And
that's very smart. So we will have the link to the Successful Author FAQs by Peter Lyle DeHaan. We'll have the link in the show notes below, but you also have two separate websites that we will have. One is peterdehaan.com, and that is Christian audience focused, where you have your nonfiction and your Christian fiction. And then we have peterlyledehaan.com. That is fiction only. And that is for a secular audience?
Nonfiction for the general market.
Nonfiction for the general market. Okay.
So
oh my gosh, there's so many books. And can people follow you? Are you on social media? Do you have a newsletter? Where do you sort of hang out?
I do have a newsletter for both author names, and it's on Substack. But you can go to my website and get a link to Substack to sign up if you want to sign up.
Okay. So on the Peter Lyle DeHaan, is that talking towards writers mostly, or is it talking just to a nonfiction audience?
For Peter Lyle DeHaan, there are books, call center related books, which none of your listeners will probably be interested in.
Well, they might be nostalgic.
and then there's there's the Successful Author FAQ book. And then there's also the Sticky series, Sticky Customer Service, Sticky Sales and Marketing, Sticky Leadership, and Sticky Living.
I feel like everyone needs customer service. Everyone needs to go there for sure. All right. We will have the links in the show notes below. Everyone can go check those out. But just so that if you are listening in the car, it is Peter DeHaan, DeHaan. You can also find him everywhere, I'm sure. Thank you so much, Peter, for coming on. It was a joy to talk to you. And I'm so glad that you have this book for us writers.
The delight was all mine. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Happy writing.
Yes.